Welcome to the Pay Yourself First podcast. My name is Chris Jolly, and I'm on a mission to financially empower millions of entrepreneurs. I want you to make and keep more money so that you can begin implementing and turbocharging a plan for creating financial freedom your way during the life cycle of your current business without spending a ton of time or becoming a professional investor. You see, most of the financial teachings out there are made for employees, not entrepreneurs. If you wouldn't listen to someone who doesn't have kids about parenting, why take business financial advice from someone without a business? Are you ready to break free of bad advice and follow the trail of other uncommon entrepreneurs so you can get from where you are now to the lifestyle you were aiming to create when you started your business? Then stick around. Here comes another episode of Pay Yourself First, where the only investment we offer is the one you make in yourself. Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. I'm super excited, as I always am, to be here with you today. We have another amazing entrepreneur. His name is Scott Gabdulin, and Scott is in Toronto, Canada. He has a lot of businesses that he runs and is involved with. So we're going to talk a little bit about those. Scott, thanks so much for coming on the podcast today.
Thank you for having me, Chris. Super excited for the conversation.
Yeah, I'm really excited to have you on. I know that you're going to deliver a lot of value for the audience, and I'm sure we're going to have a lot of fun. So let's go ahead and get started. Scott, you were just telling me before we got on a little bit about all that you do. Can you explain to the audience exactly all the businesses you're involved in, like what you do for a living and who you help?
Yeah, so I run a portfolio of businesses. My main one, the biggest one, would be Authority Factors, and that's a SEO and content marketing agency that focuses on medium to enterprise level clients. That's where we just provide some services. It's months to months, usually on a 12-month contract retainer basis. And it's very hands-on, working with SaaS or e-commerce clients and getting them results and good ROI on their kind of organic search efforts. We also have Liro.io, which is our lead generation business, still in marketing, still in digital space. But something that we've realized along the way is that, yeah, we like to work with medium to enterprise level businesses because they understand marketing. They've got budgets. They've got patience to see SEO work through 6 months, 12 months time periods. But small businesses, quite often, they will be in survival mode, right? We all know how it is when you're getting started. You just need leads, you need customers coming in through the door so you could pay the bills, pay your employees, take care of your family. And we didn't want to offer services to small businesses. We realized there was too much handholding, too many conversation, too many late night phone calls and small retainers. And so we said, why don't we just give you what you're asking for, a phone call? So that's what we did. We productized the service, and now small businesses come to us and they just buy leads, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, depending on their goals. And that's largely in home services, some corporate and other niches, but it's basically something that people are searching for online most of the time on Google. Right. So that's our second business. And then we also, what happens along the way when we work with small businesses is that they realize that they want to build a brand eventually, move away from just leads. And so we offer them to partner up, take equity on their business, and basically bring our expertise and our processes into their business as partners and grow it together with a potential goal of exiting at some point later. We don't really have goal of building lifetime businesses, really. So the exit acquisition is our ultimate goal, as well as starting our own businesses. So next month, we're trying to launch a bookkeeping business. We love bookkeeping, huge TAM, total addressable market, primarily focusing on Canada and small business owners who are digital entrepreneurs. So we start businesses like this. We have 3D printing businesses, yoga business, and then also a portfolio of about 80 websites, if that's not enough work for us. So that's a lot of the things that I'm involved with, but those would be the main pillars that I focus on a daily basis.
Well, Scott, I'm exhausted just hearing about all of that, to be honest. So now tell me, how do you keep track of all that? What kind of team do you have working with you? And just how do you make sure that you're overseeing all of those different arms and operations you've got going on?
You know, if you listen to Alex Hormozi, for example, on YouTube, and similar entrepreneurs with similar mindsets and philosophies, they always tell you focus on one thing, one business, grow it, get it big, and then do other stuff. So I might be ADHD. I never like to focus on one thing, but I realized that I was really good at marketing, and that was my excuse. I only focus on marketing. That's it. So when we join in, we partner with other businesses or start new businesses, the core expertise that I bring into that business is just digital marketing. Right. That's all. I find a great operator who's a great plumber, tree guy, yoga teacher, 3D printing expert. They do that part of the business. I help them with marketing. We help them with the retainer, building CRM, activation campaigns, all that stuff. And that's essentially my excuse for focusing on just one thing. And therefore, it's easy to do and work on multiple businesses because, like you said, I have a team. That team is largely outsourced overseas, Philippines and LATAM. And basically, they handle content, they handle link building when it comes to SEO. And I have business partners who handle paid advertising. And so we have very well structured, very well oiled machine that has its own processes. And anytime we need to onboard a new business, whether it's a client or a partnership, plugs them into our system and it just goes from there.
Awesome. I always love hearing stories like that because, as you say, the dominant kind of advice is pick one thing and stick with
Yes.
that and put all of your eggs in that basket. And I, like you, always have a hard time doing that. I've normally got 3, 4 different projects that I'm working on and trying to grow at the
Yeah.
same time. So it just all depends on where you put your focus. So what does your day look like as an entrepreneur? You get up, you start your workday. What are you focusing on mainly?
Yeah. So starts with taking care of my kid, have breakfast and whatnot. So family life is keeps us busy. But when it comes to business, at the beginning, it's always clients first. So we still run an agency. So I want to make sure that my team overnight, a lot of stuff gets done. There's a lot of updates. So I make sure that the team, I'm up to date on what team has done. And a lot of that is client work. And then when it comes to partnerships and businesses that we own, that's coming second. And then throughout the day, I just work through whatever that we need to take care of for our own businesses. There is no real pressure in your own business as there is when you work with clients, right? Because what you put into your own business, you're going to get back, and there is no stakeholder but yourself. I tend to work on that later in the day, and then early day is usually handling most of the client work.
Gotcha. Very good. Now, as far as digital marketing, when you work with clients, what do you find that they are most in need of, or maybe what do they most misunderstand about how their efforts should look in the space?
Strategy. There is really no strategy in place in terms of what they're trying to get done online. And I think we're at a point in time where everything is so saturated. There's Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and SEO and paid ads on Google, paid ads on Facebook. Something that works well for our business might not work so well for another one because they're in completely different industry, right? So quite often we'll apply Google SEO and SEM paid ads for home services like tree guys and lawn care. Works fantastic. We get leads, 70% conversion rates, customers flow through the doors, great. But when it comes to real estate, if you want to play on Google, you got to have deep pockets, really significant investment before you even see any return. So that's when you start to focus on social media like Facebook advertising, organic Facebook, even traditional networking. We love traditional marketing. It works. If you know what you're doing, it really works. But you have to be strategic. You can't just go on YouTube and the first video told you go create TikTok videos and dance. Is that really going to drive the ROI for your business? Probably not, unless you are in a dense business. It totally makes sense then. But yeah, most of the time we find that businesses who come to us, whether it's client or partnerships, it's most of the time just lack of strategies. They just don't know where to start because there's so much that they could do. And that's really the biggest problem.
Now, one of the other things you pointed out is oftentimes, I think most times, marketing is a significant investment and takes a while to see return. A lot of people, I think, have this idea, I'm just going to plop $50 on Facebook ads and then all the money's going to come in the door, or people just need to see my face once and I'll get all of these signups. And of course, that's really not the case. And the same thing with SEO, right? It's not just like one and done. It's not a 20-minute or an hour kind of quick fix.
That's right.
What do you tell somebody when they don't have a huge budget and they're looking for the biggest return thing they can do at that moment?
Again, will be very niche specific. That would be very niche specific. If there is opportunity to go with Google, that's where I would point them. So 100% would probably go into Google Ads. You'll see if you've done good job with your website, if pricing is right, and you're good on a phone. Very important part. Sales, number one skill any business owner should have. If you're good on a phone and you can close, Google Ads can generate quite a bit of return. Now, the tricky part is that a lot of business owners don't even have a website, right? So if you're not at a point where you have a website or any kind of online presence, go and find good leads provider. All you want right now is just to get phone calls. You just need to get your phone ringing because I'm sure you have a phone. And then essentially You need to close. As you start to close, you start to make money. And as you start to make money, you obviously put away whatever you need to pay your daily bills, but the rest has to be reinvested back into the business, whether that's building your own business, your own website. And once you're done with that, and then focusing on paid advertising on various different platforms, that would be my focus. I always start my new businesses from with paid ads at all times, because that's the best feedback loop, in my opinion. You start running ads within 72 hours, you already know that people are not buying, people are clicking, but they're not buying. Something is wrong, right? And you start to iterate and improve. And whenever someone asks me how much money should I spend to get started, you spend as much as you can afford to lose. That's really the rule of the game at the beginning, because you're doing research. There is no defined path for anyone out there, because every business is unique, every business is different, and you got to just be willing to spend some money to learn. It's not wasted money, it's money that you just spend to learn and figure out what's working and what's not working in your business.
Yeah, and sometimes you have to be willing to make those mistakes, even if they're expensive. And the more
100%.
expensive they are, sometimes the more value you get out of them.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay, Scott, have you always been entrepreneurial, or did you just learn that you were good at marketing and build a business around that? Or how did you get into all of this?
Do you want a long story or a short story?
Let's do a medium story. Can
A
you
medium story.
halfway?
Yeah, well, I grew up in Kazakhstan. I'm a first generation immigrant in Canada. And so my parents, due to circumstances of 90s, when fall of Soviet Union happened, they had to go into the business. There was no real safety nets anywhere. Corporate jobs did not exist. Everything was going down. So they started their own business, and they never liked anyone telling them what to do. And I think that rubbed off on me quite a bit. But when I was immigrating to Canada as the first, I had to pick my career, and the first thing I Googled was what pays the most. It said engineering. Good. I like science. I like math. I can go with that. What pays the most in engineering? Computer engineering. All right, computing sounds good. I got into it and I quickly realized I wasn't good at it. I think to be good at something, you don't have to be smart. You don't have to be genius. You just have to have at least a little bit of a passion for it, so that you could spend the times that you're not working at least to learn and improve. And I just didn't have that passion for engineering. And I knew that I wanted to do something that did not have limitations, and that was business. Didn't know what type of business, didn't have any skills, straight out of school. If you want to start engineering business, good luck. It takes 2 decades of building relationships and networking before you even can start it as a consultant. So that wasn't the path I could take. And so I went into web design. My boss walked into my cubicle 10 years ago. Don't do websites. It's too saturated. 10 years ago. Love that boss. Great man. But I stuck with it, and I picked up SEO. I picked up SEM, paid ads, I picked up Facebook advertising, got myself into agency world, worked for such and such, Sapient, Razorfish, big, large enterprise agencies with clients like KPMG and Toyota and so on. And basically learned a lot on that level, and then started doing my own things on the side. And that just snowballed into agencies, one agency, two agencies, our own businesses, my wife's business, and then just a portfolio.
Amazing. I think with as much story as there is and all that, you did a great job of condensing it down.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, awesome, Scott. So now, as far as the business right now, what would you say your biggest financial challenges at this moment?
I think the biggest financial challenge in figuring out where to deploy the assets, right? There is a lot of opportunities, and there is a bit of a risk in digital world that we're experiencing with the rise of AI. So if you asked me 2 years ago where to put money, I would 100% put it into building new sites and maybe even building up affiliate marketing assets and just doubling down on that part of the business. But now with AI and how much it depreciates the value of content at the moment, and not knowing what else will depreciate in the next 6, 12, 24 months, we're really having a hard time figuring out where to put the money so that there is a long-term return, because I never think in terms of 1 month or 2 months. I think 2 years, 5 years. And I just want to make sure that whatever businesses I'm building, they're still around in 5 years. So that's our biggest concern right now. But what we are realizing is that even though we didn't expect AI to pretty much just pretty much get rid of the white collar worker jobs in a way, we're realizing that small businesses in local service niches is where I think investment should go into. So that's why we're partnering up. That's why we're trying to find opportunities to launch more lawn care businesses, landscaping, tree removals, right? If we own a business and they develop a robot that can cut down a tree I can just employ a robot. The business doesn't go away. It's just the way we do business changes. In digital marketing, if everything is doable with a tool. It's a whole different story then. Should I start an AI agency? Do I build LLMs? Yeah, so that's the biggest concern right now, or biggest thing that's on our mind when it comes to finance.
Understood. And as you're making those decisions in your business, where to deploy capital, do you have a written financial plan that you follow, or what does that look like for you?
Not as organized, I'll be honest. Do not have a fully written out plan. I think the plan changes quite a bit every 3, 4, 6 months. We do have just directionally an idea of where we want a certain businesses to be, and basically growing those businesses individually, and just making sure that they have enough. For us, deployment of assets is very limited over the long term. It's mostly at the beginning because we know how to start to generate leads. And in my opinion, everything starts with the leads. So as soon as you start to get leads into the business, your business is running and you know how to close sales, you're off to the races. You can just keep reinvesting money that you make back into the business. So for us, it's never really an issue, and we don't really need a big plan. Should we have $200,000 in savings just to put into one business? That's really never really a concern. Yeah.
Understood. Makes sense. Okay, now we've got gold hitting an all-time high recently, Bitcoin as well. The
Okay.
tech stocks and the AI stocks are going through the roof. Are
Yeah.
you investing in the market or anywhere right now? And what does that look like for you? What are you interested in?
I do. And I have a side of me that likes to take a lot of risks and think that I'm genius when it comes to day trading. And after a lesson of losing about $40,000 on GameStop and Shopify stocks 2 years ago, I just deployed all my money into a managed account. So I have retirement funds, and then Simple in Canada pretty much manages my returns, and it's good, healthy 8, 9% that I've seen over the course of how long they've been managing it. So that's where my assets, my investments go in terms of stocks. My wife is really into real estate. So we do invest into real estate. We do have several properties in Canada, and she also has properties in the United States. I personally never think of real estate as a passive income.
Yeah.
So I'm never super excited about it. I like the returns. I just don't like the headaches that come with real estate tenants and renovations and all that stuff before you see the return. So I try to make sure that my wife is the one who handles that part of the business.
Fair enough. And I think that is such a great point. People love to call it passive income, but it's
Yeah.
really not, or
Yeah.
at least until you get to the point where you're making enough money that you can have somebody else handle all the headaches.
It's a messy medium you got to get through. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Do you have any sort of big goal or anything that you're working on you'd love to get done by the end of the year in the business right now?
Yeah, even though we're concerned about AI, we are launching a bunch of new services. And
Mhm.
so what we are really interested is in idea of productizing a service. So whether we do Google Ads, whether we do analytics setups or conversion rate optimization, how can we just package it, set a flat fee so that anybody could afford it, and then sell it at scale? All right. So that's something that we do on a digital agency side. But in terms of our new businesses, we're super excited of launching just bookkeeping business. I don't know what it is about that business, but just a gut is telling me there's a lot of opportunity there. It's a subscription-based model, which means that it's recurring income. It's something that people hate doing, and we have enough businesses to even just outsource our own stuff to that bookkeeping business. So that's something that we're really excited. And like I said, total addressable market is so big, right? Everybody needs bookkeeping,
Yeah.
and you just carve up yourself a niche, figure out what you're good at, how many employees needs to be in a company for you to be manageable as a client, for them to be manageable as a client, and then just start selling it as a subscription-based service online. Really excited about it, and I think there are opportunities for AI to innovate in accounting and bookkeeping, right? So there's a lot more innovation that we can bring with the technology background into that business and figure out how we can do better and more for less.
Awesome. That does sound very exciting. Wishing you good luck in that endeavor.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, Scott, can you tell me what financial freedom looks like to you? So let's assume you've gotten to the point now where, first of all, your wife or somebody is handling all those investment properties. So you don't have to worry about any of that. You don't even have to show up to work in the business if you don't want to. You can take 3 months off and go on a trip, whatever you like to do. All the money you could ask for. What is your lifestyle like then? What are you going to be working on at that point?
I would be surfing the first thing in the morning. I would be out on the surfboard. We went to Hawaii a few years ago, and I spent 8 hours surfing every day. So that would definitely something until I get sick of it. And then having just time with my son. We have a 3-year-old, and capturing every single moment. I've been there when he walked, when he said the first word, everything. And we just want to keep it that way, and spending more time with the family, with my wife, with my kid. And I think that's the ultimate freedom, really. And we don't really want to hop from one place to another. We've done a 9 months trip just around Canada, and we hop from place to place. It's exhausting.
Yeah.
So I think we're okay with doing 2-3 months somewhere, coming back to the home base, having some consistency for a child to grow and go to school. And that's the ultimate kind of a freedom that we already there, not, but we're getting there, and making sure that everybody's taken care of. Our family, our parents, my wife's parents, everybody is doing well. And it's pretty much the goal for us. Yeah.
Amazing. I can totally relate to that. If there's nowhere else I have to be besides on the surfboard, I think I'm doing pretty
Yeah.
good. So yeah, awesome. Okay, now, Scott, for anybody who wants to know more about what you're up to and your business and what you do, what's the best place for them to go to find that out?
Yeah, so you can find out more at scottgabdulin.com. And that's pretty much my personal website. That's a hub, takes you everywhere else on the different businesses that I own, or at least some of them. And from there, you can find all my social media profiles on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube and so on and so on.
Awesome. And before I let you go, any parting words or a piece of advice for all the other entrepreneurs out there?
Keep working through it. There are ups, there are downs. There are definitely way more downs, in my opinion, but those are all lessons. And one thing to always stay away from is the stories of overnight success where someone got rich within 6 months. Those happen, but they're very rare. We've been at it for 10 years, and I think it's the same story for vast majority of us. So just keep going. If you believe that you have a good dream and it's actually doable, something you have skills in, hone in on it, hone in on your skills, improve them, learn from your mistakes, and keep working. I always believe it'll get there. Yeah.
Amazing. Scott, it's been fantastic having you on. Thanks again for jumping on the podcast today.
Thank you, Chris. Glad to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. And everybody else, if you were glad to be here today too, and you listen in and you haven't had the chance to subscribe yet, please go ahead and do that. That way you'll get updated whenever we have some new episodes for you. And then leave us one of those 5-star reviews. It helps a ton to get the word out to other entrepreneurs. We will see you all next time. Scott, thanks again.
If you've listened this far, chances are you're an entrepreneur looking to become more financially literate and create financial freedom for yourself from your business.
The Pay Yourself First podcast
is definitely here to help with that. My goal is to continue to share what I've learned about using your business as the tool to create financial freedom. But let's face it, it would take me years to share with you everything you need to know via these episodes. Creating financial freedom is something that most people never even consider, let alone make a plan for or take action towards. It's something almost no one was taught anything about. Doing it as an entrepreneur is even more challenging, especially without support. So if you're ready to get clear on what financial freedom looks like for you, come up with an action plan, and get the support systems and accountability you need, I invite you to consider the Abundantly Infinite Entrepreneur. I created the program to help entrepreneurs just like you get a handle on their personal and business finances and start building confidently towards financial freedom. And it's how you can discover ways to take 10 years off your retirement, add an extra 5 or 6 figures to your portfolio, and finally get clear on what numbers you should be tracking in your business and why. Together, we'll gain clarity around your financial goals and what being financially free would actually look like for you. Then we'll put together a customized game plan to get you there and the accountability to see you through. And by the way, you're also going to get all the spreadsheets you need to run your numbers, lifetime access to the materials, including any updates, and entry into our members-only community. In addition to all the knowledge, coaching, community, and systems that you need to create financial freedom from your business, you'll also receive a free financial assessment, a retirement planning session, and guided meditation aimed at helping you embody the feeling of true financial freedom. So yeah, you can just listen to the free content on these podcasts to help you move towards becoming a financially free entrepreneur. And sure, you'll likely see some results, or you can make the decision to commit to learning, implementing, and embodying what you need to know to create the financially free life you dreamed of when you started your business journey. Click the link in the show notes to answer a quick questionnaire, and you'll be on your way to joining the abundantly infinite entrepreneur.